Testing, testing. Oh, okay. Yeah, we met before in your office. Oh, no. Oh, sure. Not everything might be working. Yeah, we have
Evening.
I see. Yeah, over time. Well, the one site shut down. They don't even have to things like that. But there's things that I could say don't be LA, but it doesn't
Oh, good.
Unless that was, I don't think so. But I
Hello, Rachel.
Thank you. Yeah. That's what you did. Yeah. No, it's a false wall. Well, tomorrow. Watch it go down. No,
Yeah, the ones that I. When y'all come up, just, I don't know if you've done this before, if you have, just, sign in and you can see the mic. I'll scroll through, the pictures, and if you want me to jump to a specific picture or drawing, let me know, and we'll come up, just explain who you are, what the project is, what it entails, so ask a question. Here's. Here's the door. And yours should be.
Yeah, just say.
Yeah, just, and it's so strong. And I don't.
Just turn it on.
Oh, I push that back, I'm fine.
No, yeah, so the 217 Marion, I don't believe we're here, so we can just take the yard.
Dang.
We need to give that to Phil. That must be for the council.
Yeah, no, of course, and, I mean, all the conditions.
Now, where were these that the grandkids, where are they?
So I actually had a little granddaughter born in October in Canada.
In Canada.
But my, the brand new baby that was the early bird, he's in North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Oh, okay. So y'all went up there and then had a quick trip back.
Got a phone call 11 o'clock. at
No,
night.
I saw that. That's awesome. You gotta go. That's
And then,
great.
I mean,
That's a
wow.
big help to them to keep
Yeah.
the 4-year-old while they're at the hospital. And
He's 2, so when
oh, 2, he's on 2. Okay.
so I went in to wake him up in the morning, he was like, oh, go ahead and get.
But at least he knows you and all, so.
Oh,
Ladies, I'm Philip Dixon, the chairman of the board. of Review, and I welcome you to our board meeting. It's now just past 6 o'clock on the 3rd of January, which is the time scheduled for our meeting to begin. Depending on the size and complexity of a project, each applicant has the opportunity to present a conceptual master plan for our review, prior to committing funds for a full set of design plans and specifications. Approval of a concept means that we might agree with the concept while disagreeing with some of the details. It also means that each phase of the project must be submitted at a later date once the plans are more fully developed to obtain the board's final approval for that individual portion of the project. Hopefully, any disagreements will have been worked out before the applicant comes back before the board. Some of the projects being reviewed here this evening have been submitted before and are now ready to be considered for further approval. For those of you who are not or maybe new to our meeting, our charge is to look at each project purely on aesthetics, design, architecture, height, mass, and scale, and in harmony with the historic district in the town of Somerville. We look at the overall street scene. Although we are not required to solicit comments from anyone other than the applicant and the board members, except for demolition requests, we usually choose to allow others to express comments that might help influence our decision making after the applicant has presented the project and the board members have resolved any questions they might have. Because of the number of projects we have to review this evening, we ask that anyone wishing to comment, please try to limit your comments to not more than 5 minutes if possible. As always, we will review each submittal in the order that it was submitted. However, as a first order of business, we must approve the minutes of our last meeting, which were sent to board members for review prior to this meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made, or do I have a motion that they be accepted?
Second.
Nope.
The meeting date was wrong.
Okay, yeah,
Bill called me and let me know.
okay. So I was-
I don't know where I got that date.
And that the minutes that were approved were the November minutes, not the December minutes.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll accept that they were December.
There might have been one.
And there was one other spot down there.
Oh, Mr. Blank. For 918 South Main Street. I still can't find his last name. I'm just gonna have to change that to a representative from Taylor.
None of us know it either.
He didn't sign in and it wasn't Mike, so. We'll change that to Taylor.
Okay.
Well, if you see anything else, you know, you can just email me.
Okay, well, I assume that everybody was saying yes, they approved the minutes. So good. Our first project on our list tonight is 119 Dorchester Avenue, renovation of existing family residence. This front door, transom change. So you have the floor, ma'am.
Hi, I'm back. My name is Amy Zimney. I'm the owner of 119 Dorchester, and during our last meeting, I forgot to mention a proposed change to the front door, and I wanted to get your approval before I went ahead and ordered that. So on the left, my left, is the current door. So the only change I want to make is I just want to add the lower raised panel to get a little more privacy. I have two small children. So that add a little bit more privacy, the front door, but I want to maintain all the character around it and the transom, the side lights. I just want to have the front door be equal to the the wood panel on the sides.
okay, you planning to paint it or leave it?
Yeah, the approval, this is the color panel that was approved, so the front door would be the smoke is what was.
Yeah, this is the palette number 1. That's the approved of the last meeting.
I move that we accept the door as presented.
Do I have a second? I don't think there anyone else that wishes to ask anything or make any comments. So we have a motion and a second. So please vote yes or no when I call your name. Rachel,
Yes.
Nancy Jean,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
David,
Yes,
and mine is yes.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Our next project tonight or today is 117 Marion Avenue. New construction of an accessory building.
My name is Julia Costello. I'm homeowner 217 Marion Avenue, and I'm seeking pre-approval of AT. So
Can I ask a favor? Would you move the microphone close to you? Thank you.
Do I need to repeat everything?
No.
Okay. So my name is Yulia Apostolova. I am a homeowner of 217 Marion Avenue, and I'm seeking a pre-approval of ADU that I would like to build at my property.
Could you please clarify what is facing the street? What view is facing the street?
The garage doors, this is the one. On
Could
the
you,
top
could
one.
you please show us the house view from the street as well? And where is this? Is this behind the house?
It's on the right of the house if you're facing it.
Okay, the site plan wouldn't go along with the placement the way. If the garage doors are are going to be facing the street,
Yeah, I
That-
don't know what this is.
that's the long axis of that building as opposed to the.
That's what you see with the red is not correct. I'm not sure why it's there. It should be facing the garage door. The longer side should be facing the street.
This was what was submitted, it might have been in your, is it Knight's pipeline?
Well, we worked together on it, so I actually applied, but he said maybe the correct is in his plans where, not the separate survey that I attached, but on his plans.
Yeah, this is the only site plan that I received, but so basically, this would be turned
Yeah,
90 degrees.
yeah.
So how does the car get there?
I'm sorry.
How does a car get to that garage door?
I don't understand. your question.
You go put a driveway from the separate driveway.
I don't know what it's missing. The driveway would be coming from the main driveway past the two pines that you see there and go to the.
Just so y'all are aware, I've been trying to set up a meeting for Yulia, myself and engineering, but with holidays, our engineering staff has been out. So one of the reasons that we haven't addressed the driveway yet is because of the nature of this lot and the way the water drains. I needed to get them to meet with engineering before we discussed and had them spend money on getting it designed, because the water, from what engineering has told me, the way and the engineering, Dale Robeson, who reviewed this for engineering when it was first built, he's very familiar with this lot and knows how it was designed to drain properly. So they really want to meet on site before any decision is made. And it's not your fault that they haven't been able to meet with us yet. I was hoping to get a response today, but it looks like it'll be tomorrow. I just wanted to make,
Then I'm not sure we can talk about it, because if we don't know what it would look like from the street and where a drive would go, and are those doors facing the street?
this is just for conceptual approval. So I think we're really just looking at the design here. Since it's not final approval, y'all wouldn't be voting on it.
But it matters if the doors are facing the street. as
Sure,
opposed to if
sure.
it's Rotated.
I
Or
think in
what-
any event, you would want the doors facing the street.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I don't know why. This is probably the old one. I don't know how it got there.
Then my reaction is there's an awful lot of garage door already facing the street, and that this would be too much.
So we don't need the garage door facing the street, is that what you're saying?
Like your existing home has a very large drive and double car garage door.
Yes.
And if this little building also has two garage doors and more driveway, I'm not sure it fits the character of the historic district.
Well, I attached a few pictures of the ADUs I found in a quarter of a mile radius. Like this one, yes. And there's more.
If the building is turned the way that it is not in the picture,
would the garage doors be facing the back of the backyard or? I
No,
can't
the
tell.
street.
Can you,
The only other viable option for this lot would be, it would either need to face the street or face out to the right.
But then is the drive, like I'm imagining what it might look like. So the drive comes in, does it go in front of the house, down the side? So essentially the whole lot is paved?
So another thing with this lot, and this was discussed at the previous meeting a little bit, but it's been a while since we've talked about it. This lot with the, if this structure were to be approved, they would be at their maximum impervious. So we would be working with engineering to come up with a driveway material that would work. And this road is an FCDOT main road rather than a town maintained road. So the design would have to go through them as well, because you know, there is a
Yeah.
significant, so there's a lot of,
So a lot of moving parts. So could you show the site plan? And what I'm curious is all the other examples where the ADU was at the back and the driveway was really a continuation of the main drive. So I wonder, would the ADU fit behind the house? Like it has different setback requirements than the house. So could it go in the back left corner? And you could have your garage doors facing the street, but it would be screened by the house?
It's
Actually,
one of
I
the
have one more.
problems, the back of that yard has got, is very low.
yes, so the main concern, of engineering beyond the drive was, the foundation of this. If it were to be, you know, within a certain area in the backyard, and again, I don't know enough about where the drainage is on this lot. I know it goes to the right, if you're facing, but engineering may want you to do something.
Actually, I have one more correction. The first time, that was a while ago when I came and presented the plan, it was at the max capacity. But now it's less than double what the size used to be.
This structure is,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I didn't have a site plan with square footage on it, so, it's still gonna be pretty close because this is GR2, 30% is the maximum impervious for the entire lot.
Right, I
So
understand.
that's fine, that's great if we have more square footage to work with, because then you can actually use the material that may not be totally pervious for a
Right.
drive. But that's, again, that's. something
Seem-
that-
Seems to me that these issues need to be worked out before we can do anything, because it may affect the design and placement of the building.
And that's up to y'all. I do think that at least looking at the design walkthroughs here is important because it is conceptual approval and you're not voting on it.
if it's low, does that building have to be raised? I mean, if the area is low and it's gonna get wet, does it have to
It's
be?
actually not, let's,
I thought the maximum height was 20 feet. Is this,
it's no taller than a primary residence. It's not like-
And also,
They
there
didn't-
is
so they
no
didn't change
living
that?
space on the first floor, so there is no,
Steve,
nothing,
the
bedrooms or
elevations.
bathroom.
oh,
The council changed that. It did used to be 20.
Okay.
And now it's no taller than the primary residence.
I could scroll down to the actual elevations. We'll see. There. Okay, now the north elevation, based on the site plan, this is going to be the side facing the existing house.
No, it's gonna be
Yeah.
side facing the street.
Facing Marion?
That's
Well,
what she said.
Hmm?
The garage doors were gonna be facing Marion.
Well, according to this, the north elevation is the north side. And so therefore it's the side next to the existing
I
house.
couldn't figure out. The house is kind of on the northeast,
I know, but
so. And that was I couldn't figure out since it was almost at a 45-degree angle from north or east. Couldn't figure out whether north,
Which way
What-
north was?
which way north was as far as placement on the lot.
well, I've got to say this, that is that way, because and that's the way the the drawing on the site plan is that it's. But I don't know how you gonna get to the second garage door, because it didn't look like there was enough room to get there.
Yeah, but she wants this thing rotated 90 degrees,
Yeah.
so that this is the part that's facing the street. I mean, I think the design is compatible with the house. And if that's all that we need
But-
to decide at this point, I can say, yeah, that looks all right, but that ain't gonna be what we're gonna finally see. Probably.
I guess I would just disagree with you, David, only because I think we have to look at this building, not just does it match the similar architecture of the house, but what would the street view be? And I don't think that this is the kind of street view presence that is
Well,
appropriate.
that's why I think that we need to see
Correct.
what's gonna be built.
And if we were gonna talk about it, then there'd be other conversations about the garage door style, trim.
I think that's what we're looking for here because she hasn't had the ability to meet with town staff because they haven't been available. So we can't answer those questions now, but if y'all could give her some feedback about the design itself, which I understand is streetscape is part of that, but if there's something that's not appropriate as far as this design, if you could give her some feedback on that, because what I don't want to happen is she comes back once that's resolved and there's now an issue with the design.
Can you show us the actual photo of the house?
Yep.
And then again, and let us see where the new building is really gonna be?
So this is the view from the street. Let me zoom in here.
And that's Marion.
This is Marion.
Take
Mhm.
it from Marion.
So right now, if we were to turn the building 90 degrees, if you see these two trees back here,
Mhm.
this tree, let me double check. Yeah, it would most likely. I don't, it would either need to be removed or some tree protection. No,
Don't have to.
well, what I'm saying is that it wouldn't meet our tree protection requirements, so. We would have to address that at the time of permitting or before that, most likely. But our arborist would have to go look out at the tree and see if. It's feasible for it to be that close to that tree. I know it's kind of hard to tell the distance here, but if you were to turn this. 90 degrees, so it lines up with this line back here.
If you would turn the building, it would be almost in line with the main house.
Okay,
So it's gonna be far away from that top pine tree. And it's gonna be far enough from the other two pine trees that you
So
see
the,
there.
so the back wall of the ADU is gonna be matching the back wall of the house?
It's pretty much close because yeah. Just a little bit more further in.
I guess those trees are staggered enough that you could go between them.
yeah, I mean, this is a Google Street View, so it's a little bit harder to tell the distance there. In general, because of the size of these trees, our arborist would be taking a close look at the placement of
Actually
everything.
have a permit to remove the front right tree because it's been struck by a lightning.
Okay.
But it doesn't bother me. For now.
It does match the house. The design of the house.
Actually, this is an old picture also. I have all the concrete you see now that in front, stucco is painted white. Yeah, this is it. This is the new picture.
It's far less sterile looking than the Google view.
It matches the house.
Yeah, but I want to see, you know, where it's gonna be, what it's gonna look like from the street and whether it has to have any significant changes made in it because of engineering.
Well, so far I hear one big concern about garage doors. What do you suggest? I mean, I'm open to suggestions, or you just don't like the design at all?
No, I think what I feel the most strongly about is that there's usually a relationship if you have a main house and then behind that you might have secondary buildings, of which this would classify as a secondary building. And yet its location on the site would be very prominent, especially if its back wall lines up with the back wall of your home, more or less. So there's no traditional or no reinforcement of that hierarchy of principal and secondary. And what we're left with then is a view from the street that would just have an awful lot of driveway, an awful lot of garage doors. And I just don't think it's the right look and the right location.
Maybe in
And so
that case, we should keep the way it is on, you know,
do you know,
the drawing.
in having it run that way, like if you could put your drive up the back and across the back of your home to get into your ADU, it would be a far more traditional site organization. And I don't know if that works from your drainage point of view.
But then that way I wouldn't have any backyard at all, just the driveway.
Well, I hear what you're saying and I'm sorry about that, but I also feel like from the street, having that much driveway to service 4 garage doors is just a very suburban look and isn't really the look of our historic district.
But
And
I
that's
see a
just
lot
my
of
opinion. You
ADUs,
guys are all welcome to jump in.
I see a lot of ADUs actually closer to the front. So if I bring the house closer, the ADU closer to the front, would that be?
Possibly that could work. So you just have an awful lot less drive. Maybe there's sort of like a little forecourt made there. And I think it needs some further investigation and design, but like honestly, having 2 huge driveways created, it would feel pretty massive and it would feel like an awful lot of the property was just paved.
I see what you're saying.
The rear setback for that, for an accessory structure on your property is 5 feet from the rear. And then it would be
So-
10
so
10
it-
feet from the side. So if that works for engineering, that may,
Like if it could be tucked in that back corner,
Then it would make driveway even bigger.
yeah, but the driveway might go back further, but then behind your home would be lawn and garden.
I'm thinking that to bring it closer to the front would be better, no?
Do you know, I think it honestly is just needing to look at the options, draw them out, draw in the drive. And see, like when you have the true width of the drive that flares out to the width of what your garage is and the ADU is drawn to scale. I think you'll be able to see which is the best. But at the moment, my impression is just, it would be a lot of drive and a lot of garage doors facing the street and that it would not be as
Are you
cute.
suggesting the back left corner?
If it could go in the back left corner,
That would be great
Yeah.
because there'd be very little extra drive.
because it can literally
Yes.
go right almost up against that back fence line.
Back left
Biggest-
corner?
Yeah,
The biggest problem there you'd have would be
Space
the
there.
turning radiuses for vehicles to get into the
but
garage.
that's what I'm saying, Philip, is without drawing in the driveway to scale and the actual width you need, the backup space, we're just in the dark. And I'm only reacting to the little information that we're given. And when I'm extrapolating, like now a drive going the other way, it feels like the whole house would be surrounded by
Yeah.
drive.
if the new building is in the same position that is on this thing, on our view, the doors for the garage would be facing the side of the house, not Marion Street, is that right?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you want to change the direction of that building from what is in red now to?
Or you couldn't get a car in the drive.
She wants
in
to
the
have
garage.
also some backyard, some lawn.
What if like, what's the how much away from the property line can I put ADU? Five?
So it's 10 feet from the side and 5 feet from the rear.
5 feet, so.
Those are the zoning setbacks. You know, there is, and we saw this with the 2 lots behind, or mainly the 1 lot to the right behind. There is an area, you know, in this back right corner, I believe it overlaps a little, that you can't disturb because it's a floodway or riverway, or forget what the term is in our engineering manual, but that's why they couldn't this property they
But
didn't go
are we
forward with.
talking left, oh,
Right,
It's in
where
the
if you see
house?
where my cursor is moving back and forth here.
right, no, but they saying that I could maybe probably put it left, not
Yeah.
the right, left.
If engineering is okay with that location,
I mean, that would work for me.
yeah, so it would be 5 feet from the rear property line and then 10 feet from the side property line.
Yeah.
Draw it out and see if it fits.
And I think meeting with engineering will answer
Because
a
of
lot of
questions.
questions.
The questions on the location, I wonder if we ought to just turn ourselves to the building itself and whether the building is appropriate wherever it's put on the lot. And,
I'm not sure we can answer that though, Philip. I think they're tied together.
well,
Could we specify that the garage doors did not face Marion? That we could approve the building as long as the doors do not face Marion?
well, we're not approving today. All we're doing is saying that you're in the right direction with your building. And the town's still got some stuff they've got to look at for the drainage and all. And yes, we're coming up with a situation of impervious section of the lot that has got to be addressed as well. That's why I was saying, if we can tell her whether they're going in the right direction on the way that the building looks. And then they'll come back to us with a final product once they get all the details for the site layout completed.
One more question. If I would put ADU in a left top corner, you won't be able to see even the garage doors because it's gonna be, you know, behind the main house.
That's
Would
right.
that be okay?
I'm not,
Would really be behind the house if it were in the left corner, back left corner. You'd be looking down the driveway at it.
are the dashed lines, the setbacks? Becca?
For the primary residence, yes.
But this could be put into the,
Yeah, 5 feet from the rear, 10 feet from the side.
okay, because that would, then you'd have room. My
It would
concern
also
would be
resolve the issue
having
with the
turning radius
trees.
for your vehicles. You've got to have 25 or 30 foot.
I would have to still see your engineering department and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, just
Good.
wanted to know my options.
So
I think she knows how we feel.
yeah,
We've talked about the architecture, we've talked about siding. Do you feel like you have a good sense of where we're coming from and you can go forward?
Yes, ma'am. But as far as the design of ADU, do you, like beside the garage door, is that something that you would feel that it's gonna be compatible to other ADUs in the area, or?
Well, I don't think it's being compatible with other ADUs in the area. It's got to work with your property and the surrounding properties.
I mean, they're all different.
Yeah, they are.
They're all very different around me.
Mhm.
And I know
I
that,
think, I think we're all agreed, like this design is very similar to the design of your home.
all right.
Yeah, this, as I said, that we are not granting an approval or disapproval on it. More trying to provide you now on your concept, some observations so that you can, in talking to your architect, can say, hey, this is what they say. And, you know, let him use his expertise to bring things in line with what you hear, what we've said.
Gotcha.
And
Alright.
hopefully I'll have an update for you on when we can meet. It'll hopefully be this week, if not next week.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next one is 206 Central for St. Luke's.
Hello, I'm Lily Veith. I'm representing St. Luke's. I am not with St. Luke's. I'm with Compiègne Playgrounds, and this is a request for shade replacement in the Children's Center.
I think is it located between these two buildings?
So there is currently one small shade structure in the back there to the left. It's a 10 by 10 structure that's existing, and we are just going to be replacing it. So the same style, same size. And then I've got the colors, which are a little bit better than what I had submitted online.
You mark the.
Go ahead and
one-
let them look at
put-
it. I'm-
Put a, here. That
What is it
helps.
currently, the color?
There we are.
Oh, there.
Gray, or excuse me, tan and blue, and it's,
You talking about the charcoal or this steel gray?
the steel gray.
Steel gray.
And then this is not the correct color, but it's this RAL color, which is a light gray. That would be,
Right now, you can see, if you can go back to that other picture, please. So the one I was referring to, it's that green with the tan on top. And so we would be replacing the post, similar size and diameter, with the light gray and then that steel gray shade. And then if you go up to the next one, the one that we would replace here will be a little bit bigger. So the poles will actually sit and it will cover, and it will be essentially a rectangle that's turned slightly, which is a hyperbolic shade. And that would be the same light gray post with the steel gray fabric. This is the only one that you will see from the road. And then the height of it will be similar in height to what is here right now. The height of the one over to the left, that square one we talked about earlier, will be the same height. And then the additional one, which you can see right there, will be the same thing. It'll be a triangular shade and the light gray with the steel gray fabric. So all the shades would be the same. And then if you don't mind showing the playground equipment that they've selected. So the playground equipment is going to have the red post, and then the panels will be gray, and then the rooftops will also be a darker gray. So the shade would go into kind of that same color scheme, which is similar to what the existing buildings are.
And y'all don't have to approve the playground equipment. That's not in your purview, just the shades.
And this is the actual fabric of the.
Yes,
shade.
so it's a commercial sail shade fabric. So it has the UV protection, wind rating, and everything.
And looks better than canvas.
So we're just approving the shades.
And then you can see I've got a picture of the placement. Essentially, if you're doing the bird's eye view, you can see those three X's. That's where the shades would go. So we will not be near any existing tree. There'll be no obstruction to the building. And then over to the right-hand side, I know there's 2 drains that sit. I've spoke with engineering about that, and we wouldn't have anything near those as well.
I would move that we approve them.
I'll second that.
Any other comments? All right, please answer yes or no. Rachel,
Yes.
Nancy Jean,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Yes.
and mine is yes. So we wish you well.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send you the certificate tomorrow. We are not going to be voting today because I really want everyone to be here, though I don't think the vote will turn out any different. So unless y'all have anything for me, we can adjourn.
We're not gonna do a McCarthy style upheaval.
No, no. I just need a motion to adjourn.